So before we start, may we thank our sponsors. For the venue sponsors, we have Ayala Museum, Filipinas Heritage Library, Asian Institute of Management. For the KohaCon sponsors, we have Bib Libre, Gobi Library Solutions from EBSCO, Bywater Solutions. Kobahagi sponsors, Scanbit Technology and Services, Vibal Group, OS Library Solutions, Tulong Aklatan. For media sponsors, we have Manila Bulletin, the nation's leading newspaper. Other sponsors, Department of Tourism, Intramuros Administration, University of the Philippines School of Library Information Studies, and this event will not be possible without the partnership of ASLP and the KOHA ILS Philippines volunteers. So let's now proceed to the first session we have this morning. Our first session is all about the Asian Institute of Management's Migration Challenges and Opportunities. Our first speaker is the current director of the Knowledge Research Center of the Asian Institute of Management based in the Philippines. Let us all welcome Mr. Fernan Dizon. On check.
So, good morning to everybody. I do see some familiar faces. To those at the back, there are actually free seats in front so that if you would like to transfer, please feel free to move in front. Sayang naman yung mga spots at the front. Pero I guess wala atang nilipat. Okay, so again, thank you and good morning. My name is Fernan, and I will be talking about our experience or experiences in using KOHA, the rationale why we decided to migrate from a proprietary integrated library system and into KOHA. But first, I would like to give you the outline of my presentation this morning. I would like to talk about briefly about our institution, which is the Asian Institute of Management, our automation journey, okay, where we came from in terms of integrated library management systems, some of the rationale for migrating to KOHA, how we deployed KOHA, and then finally, I would like to share some of the challenges as well as the opportunities presented by migrating to KOHA. Okay, about the Asian Institute of Management. Actually, AIM, or the Asian Institute of Management, is just a stone's throw away. You can walk it probably in less than 3 to 5 minutes, you will be there. We are located in Paseo de Rojas, in front of one of the malls, Greenbelt 1. Okay? We are an international graduate school of business. We are offering MBA, our executive MBA, or Masters in Business Administration, Masters in Entrepreneurship. We have recently relaunched our Masters in Entrepreneurship, our new program, Masters in Innovation and Business. We are also looking at offering courses in Masters in Data Science or Data Analytics, as well as Masters in Disaster Management. So these are just some of the programs that we offer. Aside from executive education, short courses, etc. So to give you the context of where we come from, we are a very small school. Currently, our full-time students, roughly less than 250. Okay? So we are really a small school, a small institute. Um, Aside from that, given the restrictions or limitations as to the physical facility, we really cannot expand. The only way for us to expand is to build new buildings. Okay? And we plan to do so, hopefully in the future. So I would like to think that AIM is one of the premier graduate school of business in the Philippines and in Southeast Asia. So this is where I work, okay? The Knowledge Resource Center. The Knowledge Resource Center handles your traditional library services, but for us to remain relevant and important for the institution, we have diversified or included other responsibilities. Okay, so we are now managing the records management as well as archival services for the institute. So currently, we occupy 2 floors of the main building, the ground floor, where you will see our access services section, our records management and archives, as well as our reading center. Right now, we do have some renovations ongoing. So for those who will be participating at the Hackfest, at this point, I would like to ask for your indulgence and your patience because, again, there are disruptions because of the renovation that is currently ongoing. So this is the second floor where we keep most of our book collections. We are also a recipient of the World Bank grant for the Knowledge for Development Center, now known as the Knowledge for Development Communities. Okay? We do have other affiliations like AIM, KRC is a member of the Asia Pacific Business School Librarians Group. So we meet annually to talk and discuss about issues pertaining to business librarianship. So this is the archives which we launched last 2015. So in time for the 50th anniversary of the Institute next year, we plan to hold events, of course, to commemorate the 50th or golden anniversary of the Institute. But what we plan in the future is to integrate the metadata records of the record center as well as the archives into Koha. So, our automation journey. So, probably just like other libraries, we used Lotus Notes to organize the collections of the library. So that was in the early 90s, going into, let's say, middle of the middle 2000. And then, sometime in 2011, 2012, we moved to Lisa 7. Lisa 7 is a proprietary integrated library management system developed by a Filipino programmer. And then sometime in 2015, we decided to move to a more stable, to a more reliable, and a system that would actually follow certain standards. Hence the move to Koha. So to give you a snapshot of what we used to have at the KRC prior to Koha, so this is the interface of Lisa 7. As you can see, it is pretty simple. There's a search box. You can actually type in the keyword or the type of material that you would like to search for. Just type in the keyword, press enter. So, and then the system would give you, of course, the bibliographic information, call number, etc., as well as the status. So, pretty simple. So that is Lisa 7. Now, why did we move to Koha? It is because of the following reasons. Number one, it is proprietary. If anything happens to that programmer, we would be at a loss. So to minimize risks, okay, of loss, continuity, of service, and of the database, we decided to move. Lisa 7 is non-Mark 21 and RDA compliant. We have to do manual encoding of records. So we are not using Z3950 for harvesting, searching metadata, RDA, Mark records. It was locally hosted, and there are really no disaster plans. The server is in our campus. Since there is no disaster plan, if anything happens to those servers, again, we would be at a loss. All the data will be gone. Support service was unreliable in the sense that if we need assistance, we need to call, and sometimes that particular person is unavailable. Meaning, if the system or the server is down, we don't have any means of accessing our bibliographic records. Next, lack of patron account page. We have received requests from patrons who would like to see all the transactions that they have done with the library, all their book borrowing information, etc. With Lisa 7, we don't have this patron account page. And then finally, before Koha, the KRC don't have any library web page. There is actually a single page at the AIM website that would give you the general, it's very static. It would give you the information about our library, and then just 4 letters, HERE, or here, that would contain the hyperlink to our catalog. So if you are the user, if you are the researcher, you will be, or you will find it difficult to search for information. Because really, what you will see at our static web page in the AIM website is just a link to Lisa 7. Now, how did we implement Koha? How did we migrate? Okay. In 2015, sometime about June or August, we sought ILS proposals. So we looked at several systems in the market. Some of them commercially available, like Library Solutions by TLC, Destiny, etc. And then we decided to take a look into open source. What actually influenced me is EBSCO. Why? I was in Bangkok to attend the Consal conference. I was able to talk to Tim and to Joseph, and they told me about this project by EBSCO with other open source software. The future of libraries are open, or is open, Folio. They told me that EBSCO is helping in terms of funding open source software like Koha. So that prompted me, so that gave me an idea that really open source is the way to go. Okay? In a technical sense, it is not really free because what we are doing is to hire a company to implement Koha for us simply because we do not have the necessary competencies to implement Koha ourselves. We lack the technical support from our IT department. They don't know anything about Koha. They told us they don't have the server space to host Koha and so forth and so on. So really, we decided to talk with On-Strike Library Solutions, which is actually one of the sponsors of this conference. And sometime October 2015, we have chosen OSLS, or On-Strike Library Solutions, as our partners, okay, or as our partner in implementing Koha. So we had a series of meetings. We had a talk with the Lisa 7 programmer to help us transition and gather the metadata, the MARC records for migration into Koha. So that happened sometime in November. So as you can see, it took us around 6 months to migrate from Lisa 7 into Koha, but we did a parallel run of Koha and Lisa 7. So, in December to January 2015, 2016, all books that are now being borrowed by the patrons are entered into Koha, and all the books borrowed using Lisa 7 were returned into Lisa 7, and so forth and so on. So in December 2015, we finally launched Koha. So this is the interface, okay, of our Koha as implemented for the Knowledge Resource Center. One good thing about Koha is this. If you know a little bit of coding, you can play around with the graphics, the colors, the font, okay? So with our previous ILS, we were not really capable of doing all of this. The mere adding of bibliographic information here for our new acquisitions, that was not possible with our previous ILS. But right now, because of the administrative module in Koha, we can easily update some of the information here. That is why our Koha OPAC also serves as the website for the KRC or the library. Now, I will be talking about some of the opportunities. Okay, we would like to think that we are probably the first Philippine library to integrate Koha into Discovery. Am I correct, Joseph? So, what prompted us to get EDS? There are actually, we thought of two ways. One is integrating metadata MARC records from EBSCO, their ebooks, journals, and put it into Koha. The other way of doing it is to put MARC records, metadata from Koha into EDS. We actually tested both. Initially, we uploaded MARC records metadata of our EBSCO ebooks into Koha. The problem is because of the space limitations in our server, as specified in our contract, we easily consumed all of the server space. So we thought it would be more logical, cheaper, and more efficient if we put Koha metadata and MARC records into EDS. Okay? So, by using EDS, our library users would be able to search not only the collection of the library, physical collections, theses, books, serials, cases, they would be able to search our online database subscriptions, our collection of ebooks, as well as journals. Hence, making it easier for the researcher to gather relevant, related information to their research needs. All the links that you see here are links into our catalog or OPAC. So you would see information about the mission of the library, the vision, history, and so forth and so on. So in a way, it's similar to what you will see in our Koha OPAC. Okay? One good thing about having this as well is it's like having a redundancy. There are instances where or when our OPAC, Koha OPAC server would be down. As an alternative, we can actually point our library users to EDS because EDS would contain data records about our collections as well. If you search EDS, it would give you information about the book, the status, the call number, etc. So this is just an example of a record that is in our Koha ILS that is also available in EDS. Okay? So you would see the status of the book here. Okay. Koha self-checkout. We were very happy to know that there is actually a self-checkout module for or in Koha. So we decided to use it. Currently, we don't have any library security system, but we plan to get RFID technology in the future. Anyway, if you would like to implement self-checkout, meaning your patrons would be the ones to borrow the books themselves, you can do so using Koha. So this is actually the interface of our self-check system. So we put the instructions on how to borrow books. We actually invested in a touchscreen monitor and a receipt printer and a barcode scanner. So this is a very, very crude, simple setup that would allow your patrons to borrow books themselves. Okay? So once a patron borrow a book, all he or she has to do is just to print the receipt and then present it to the guards on duty on their way out of the library. Other opportunities, as I've mentioned, RFID integration. I was a bit curious about the experience of TIP about their library validation. So in terms of security, I'm thinking more in the way of a gate counter. People entering the library would scan their IDs, and then in a way, it could be, the data could be stored into Koha. We are also contemplating on getting single sign-on, probably Open Athens or any other easy proxy services that would allow our users to have a single username and password to access both their library accounts as well as our online database subscriptions. Of course, the power of data analytics. Eugene and OSLS included PWIC into Koha so that we would have an idea who visits our website, from which country, and so forth and so on. Okay, some of the challenges. We are implementing Koha purely on the cloud. So sometimes we would encounter internet connectivity issues, latency, as well as bandwidth issues. So this is actually one of my concerns regarding the self-checkout. Since we are using a purely cloud-based self-checkout system of Koha, the latency sometimes would occur and it would have a delay. So let's say you press the screen, print the receipt, it would take around 3 to 5 seconds. But it's not really that bad. But if there is a way to maximize the speed in terms of using the system, especially the self-checkout, it would be better. Of course, we encountered some bugs when we upgraded to the latest version of Koha. For example, it happened during the use of our self-checkout as well. Instead of having it seamlessly done, there is another layer of instructions that needs to be performed by the library user before he or she could print the receipt. But having a partner like OnStrike Library Services, it actually makes it easier for us. Why? What they did was just to revert to the previous version of Koha, self-checkout, and then everything was running smooth again. Now, I included this Data Privacy Act. We had a meeting yesterday with our IT director. We are being asked how to protect data that we get from our patrons. So that is probably one of the issues that we need to think of, especially if we hire third-party service providers. How would they ensure the protection of the data of our users? So at this point, we would probably need to revisit the contract with OnStrike on how to ensure the privacy of our patrons. So that is actually my presentation for today. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hands to be recognized, and I would be more than willing to answer any of your questions right now. Okay, so I guess you don't have any questions. If there are no questions, thank you very much and good morning.
So if you have questions or any concerns about the first session, you may email your you may email all of these. Excuse me. You may so you can email all of these at aslplibrarians@gmail.com, and we will forward it to Mr. Fernandezon for his questions. So let's now proceed with the awarding of the certificate of appreciation. The citation reads, the Association of Special Libraries of the Philippines, ASLP Incorporated, in cooperation with KohaCon Integrated Library System, ILS volunteers, presents this certificate of appreciation to Fernandezon, Asian Institute of Management, Philippines, in grateful recognition for sharing his time and knowledge as a resource speaker for 2017 Ati City, Metro Manila, Philippines, given this 20th day of June 2017. Signed, Maizel Y. Marifosque, Conference Chair, ASLP Vice President, and Mr. Randolph D. Mariano, President. So, there you go. So, our ASLP Vice President and the representative from the KOHA ILS Philippines. So I just would like to mention, no, the two person here who joined me during the awarding of the certificate, our ASLP Vice President, Ms. Maizel Marifosque, and Mr. Manuel Tamayo, representative of the KOHA ILS Philippines. So thank you, Mr. Fernandezon, for your very informative and very very inspiring experience in the KOHA journey. So allow me to thank all of our sponsors again. Our venue sponsors, Ayala Museum, Filipinas Heritage Library, Asian Institute of Management. Our KohaNep sponsors, Bib Libre, Gobi Library Solutions from EBSCO, Bywater Solutions. Kobahagi sponsors, Scanvit Technology and Services, Vibal Group, OS Library Solutions, Tulong Aklatan. Our media sponsor, Manila Bulletin, the nation's leading newspaper. Other sponsors, Department of Tourism, Intramuros Administration, University of the Philippines School of Library and Information Studies, and our partner for this event, the KOHA ILS Philippines Volunteers. So are we now ready for the second session? I intentionally did not introduce myself a while ago as your MC for the second day because I will be delivering the second session in behalf of the ASLP Executive Board 2017. So my name is Justin Hinko. I am your MC for the second day, and of course the one tasked to do the overview, to give you the overview of the ASLP's experience in organizing the event. So I put an emphasis on this word, the event, just to give you the different kinds of events actually that ASLP held in the past years that is in line with the information technology and the same development in the library science profession. So first, I would like to put an emphasis of the ASLP's commitment. First is to produce timely workshop, forums, and events that would definitely cater the present needs of the librarians. Next, we want our events, our forums, our lectures to be accurate. So everything is verified. Since we are information specialists, we deal with credible information sources. So we at the ASLP, we make sure that everything is verified. Next, in line with that, we make sure that everything that we offer in our members is competitive enough in the practice of library science profession. And lastly, everything is realistic and useful that after the librarians attended our events, it will be a great help in their libraries. It will be realistic enough to be implemented and useful enough that will help the overall library management. And of course, we conducted different kinds of events that is in line with the information technology and the information ethics and literacy. So we have to reconcile. We did reconcile these major subjects in the profession, since we saw that this is an emerging this is an emerging topic in the profession. So let's just have a quick retrospect of the ASLP's IT integration. In 2014, we held the Philippine American Information Resource Sharing. So that's in July 2014 at the Presidential Broadcast Studio in Malacanang Palace. The then Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Edwin Lacerda focused his discussion on the data sets and the open government projects. So basically, it's more on databases, data sets, and how the government perceive on sharing this to the public. That's the opendata.gov.ph. And in line with that, the Thomas Jefferson Information Center of the U.S. Embassy also conducted some sort of a synonymous event that is focused on their databases, that focus on the USE library. So in the same year, 2014, the fourth NCSLP focuses the discussion on the overhauling of the library, from its management to the buildings, to the administration, and of course, the IT integration of how these kind of changes in the libraries can be implemented realistically, and how will it be so useful that the librarians and its users will be collaborating in the future. In 2015, ASLP held the Digital Forensics Forum, held at the Department of Budget and Management. So ASLP partnered with the Philippine National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group. So the discussion focuses on the data security, database security, and how librarians are also vulnerable to this kind of attacks. Next, in the same year, 2015, we held the live hacks. Actually, we just draw it from the colloquial term of the millennials now, the life hacks, of how the applications and the different kinds of online technologies, online innovations that can help in terms of managing the libraries. So this event, we invited the Google Philippines. So Google Philippines imparted the knowledge of how the Google applications can be used in the efficient running of the library management. In 2016, we held the digital assets in our midst, positioning information providers in the knowledge management environment. So this kind of event that we had is we tried to reconcile the archiving and the knowledge management side and how are we librarians can develop or even make the the most archive material that we have in the library available to the public. Of course, there are procedures that must be considered in doing so. And then the major event that we held in ASLP that is in line with the KoHa conference 2017 is the training on the use of KoHa DSpace and Greenstone Digital Library. It was spearheaded by the ASLP Executive Board in 2013. So KoHa DSpace Greenstone Digital Library 2013 held at CIFDEC Tigbawan, Iloilo City. It's in Visayas, the Visayas portion of the Philippines. And it was held on May 15 to 17, 2013. The discussion or the theme focuses on organize IT digitally, open sources tools for your library. So we make sure ASAP wanted to explore the possibilities of open sources be made available to the librarians because of course we know that we are all working on a budget. So open sources like this are very important in the library. So this basically the seminar, it has a similar setup of itinerary. Similar setup of the itinerary was executed. Seminar on the first part of the workshop, first part, and the workshop on the second part. Okay, so part of the objective is ASAP wanted to aid the libraries that are working on a budget and challenges in the administration, meaning everyone is facing challenges, of course, not really hardships, but more on challenges on how we librarians will implement this kind of open sources in our libraries. So the highlights of the event, the invited speaker is Mr. Eugene Jose Espinoza. His expertise, analysis, findings, challenges, and rooms for improvement when it comes to this subject was imparted to the participants. So later, I will be inviting Mr. Eugene Espinoza to come over and to give you just a background of what has been discussed in 2013. So some highlights of the event, it's of course basically Mr. Espinosa discuss first the background of KoHa, what is KoHa, and then the installation of KoHa ILS in a virtual machine utilizing Oracle VirtualBox. So basically this is a very technical side of the KoHa management, KoHa implementation in the libraries. So basically, these are the requirement tools, hardwares needed to implement, to install the KoHa DSpace Greenstone library. So a working computer, a desktop, a laptop, any operating system, preferably Windows because it's more user-friendly as we know it. Oracle VM VirtualBox, it's a software, and a pre-installed KoHa. So later, Mr. Espinoza will be discussing this. So there you go, the installation. So the step-by-step installation of the KoHa. So now I will be calling now Mr. Eugene to discuss more of this installation of the KoHa.
Correction with the preferably Windows for installing the Oracle VirtualBox. So correction on that. Actually, we have some participants who were there during that event, and I would like actually to ask them to come in front and sorry for the on the spot. Like, sir, Nicanor Pakaide from from University of Cebu, and I think they were able to implement Koha in their library. Sir, can you please come in front so that you can share some knowledge or knowledge you've learned or you've gained through that seminar? Sorry. Okay.
Okay, good morning. So, on the spot, no? Uh, I am Nicanor from University of Cebu, and I have here my partner, Mr. Erwin Ababa. Both of us were able to attend the 2013 training workshop of the Koha, D-Space, and Greenstone. So, after that event, we were trying to play with these three applications, and luckily, uh, we are now using both Koha and the Greenstone. But actually, we were able to use Greenstone first, and we use it with our newspaper clippings. Okay, because we all know that we have a lot of newspaper clippings on the cabinets, steel cabinets, and then most students do not really use those cabinets. No, they are really into computers and go directly to the internet. So with that workshop, we're able to convert these um, clippings into a digital format. Actually, you don't really have to have a very sophisticated machines to convert that digitally. So we just use a hybrid flatbed scanner. Pero yung iba hindi na mapasok kasi medyo malaki na. So inuna na namin yung mga maliliit. And then when Erwin came to our school, he was previously on the other campus of UC, and he was transferred to Maine. So the two of us work together with Koha, and right now we are running it on for 1 year, and still we are encoding the data, no? Kasi we only have a few librarians, and we all know that librarians have a lot of things to do aside from encoding. Hindi naman pwede na puro encoding lang. So it will really take time, no? And like other schools, we have some problems with the connection. Okay, so as of the moment, our Koha is running on local. Okay, locally, and we are also trying to talk with the EDP people. Okay, these are the common problems with the librarians na itong mga EDP people. They are very restrictive on the network. They don't really give a open space for the networking. So grabe yung security. So we really have to talk because other campuses, marami na kasing mga satellite campus, and then we want to centralize the connection of Koha. But prior to Koha, we were using CDs ICs. Who's familiar with CDs ICs? Yeah. Yun ang pinakasikat noon eh, CDs ICs. We were maintaining that for more than 10 years. And even right now, our vintage computer that is being installed with the CDs ICs and Novell for the network still running. Pero tinurn off na namin because we are trying to migrate to Koha. After CDs ICs, we move to Windows ICs. Okay? Tapos na ng Windows, meron din Gen ICs. Diba? Yung web version ng OPAC nila. So, yun ang ginamit namin. Kasi, as I have, we all know that proprietary software for the LIS is very expensive. So, yun lang ang kaya namin as of the moment. So, thank you. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Sir Nick Pakaide, for that for sharing your experience. Yeah, actually, when you search Koha Philippines and you Google Koha Philippines, well, I tried actually to search for Koha Philippines to know who were the first persons to ask some questions in the Koha community coming from the Philippines. And I got to in my search query, Sir Nicanor Pakaide had asked a question during 2002, 2003. Am I right, sir? You asked the Koha community. That was version
Ladies
1
and
point
gentlemen,
something.
may I introduce to you Cecil Isa.
No, yeah, it was actually Koha back then was we can we can ano, what do you call this? Is we can install Windows back then in 1.x, but now it's kind of difficult. But yeah,
Ladies and
with
gentlemen,
regards
may
to
I
Koha
introduce
history,
to
I
you
think
Cecil Ison from the
Nicanor
Philippines
Pakaide,
Heritage Library to
Sir
share to
Nicanor
us
Pakaide had
the
that what do you call this? That vision. Yeah, probably he might be the first to ask. I don't know. With regards to my research, because it was um, it was 2002, and before that, no records. So probably, sir, ikaw ang ano. But when this Koha, but with regards to Koha community in the Philippines, baka ikaw, sir. So yeah, what I was telling is, sir, probably Sir Nicanor Pagade might be the first person who asked the Koha community regarding Koha. And he might be the first person to take that initiative to install Koha in their institution, Philippine setting wise. I think we have another one, but I can't see her, Miss Robelyn Anyo, if she's around, but it's okay if you don't. If is Miss Robelyn Anyo from PMI College is around? Hi. Wala. So I think that caps our discussion for the efforts of the Association of Special Libraries of the Philippines in promoting IT in the Philippines and Koha. May I give the mic?
Thank you very much, Mr. Eugene, for that very informative sharing of your topic in 2013. So basically, these are what he discussed in Iloilo. So it's more of very specific of how to install the installation process. There you go. So in summary, so also they used like a command prompt on MS-DOS programming. So anyway, just to give you a background, no, a view, a review of what had happened in the 2013 Koha conference. More on Koha training, DSpace, and Greenstone Digital Library. So they ended up working they have installed a working Koha ILS in the Oracle VirtualBox available on its local area network, provided that there are also IT restrictions, no? Provided that there are no restrictions in the local network administered by the library's information technology officers. So basically, these are just a glimpse of the efforts of ASLP in implementing different programs, different workshops, forums, trainings that is in line with the information technology uh, updates. So I just would like to give you parting message that is that would reiterate the ASLP's commitment in the planning of different kinds of projects that is in line with this. So basically, the librarians, the Filipino librarians, the members of ASLP, you see the trees. We at the ASLP, we see the forest. So basically, you know what you need in your sections, you know what you need in the libraries, in your libraries. But we at the ASLP, when we do planning like this, we see the overall picture. we see what is needed in the different kinds of sections in the libraries so that everything will be efficiently and effectively deliberated and implemented. So that would be all. Thank you very much for listening in the ASLP's sharing of experiences. Okay, so are there any questions? Questions, concerns? Okay, so none as of the moment. If you have any concerns or questions that you have in mind later on, you may email those at aslplibrarians@gmail.com and we will be uh, quick enough to respond to those questions. Okay, so let's now proceed to the third session that we have uh, in the second day. So our third session is focused on the SIL Koha ILS experience. Our speaker for today is a librarian and also an archivist manager at the Summer Institute of Linguistics based in the Philippines, SIL Philippines. Without further ado, may I now invite on the stage Mr. Manuel S. Tamayo.
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. So I am Manuel Estamayaw, a father of two, librarian and archivist by profession, and a husband of a beautiful librarian. So my presentation is a Koha community SIL's experience. So what is SIL? SIL is an international volunteer non-profit organization that has worked in the Philippines since 1953. It's an international organization that started in the USA in 1931. So in cooperation with the Philippines Department of Education, SIL members carry out linguistic research and documentation of Philippine indigenous languages. As appropriate to the language community, SIL also promotes literacy, health, and community development projects among speakers of those languages, as well as translation of materials of high moral value into the vernacular. Basically, most of the dictionaries, primers, and literacy materials available for different languages here in the Philippines, SIL is the one doing it. So, formerly known as Summer Institute of Linguistics. Okay. So, again, what is KoHa? KoHa is the first open source integrated library system, which we all know. Oops. Okay, it's also a Maori word which means gift. But let me iterate, it's the way in which one can express gratitude in the form of physical gift, like money, food, and bottles of fancy wine, or something intangible like some great advice. I can associate it with the word tulong, Tagalog word tulong. And also, KOA is a community. Community, an active community or a group of individuals who have the same interest of making the KOA, which is the library system, better. KOHA, KOHA, KOHA. KOHA is written as KOHA with capital K, not all caps KOHA, nor KOHA. Na KOHA nyo. So, so in 2011, SIL was looking for an integrated library system. So as a replacement for Athena, because the support provider is not helping or working, and we need an extensive report module for basically for providing reports for finances, and it should be a web-based catalog, and it should be a consortium-ready catalog because SIL libraries and partner libraries are thinking of merging into one web-based catalog. So at the time, the team, the ILS transition team, composed of a library coordinator, which is an American, yours truly, and 3 IT wizards, a Canadian, an Irish, and an American. So, but our main developer, Mark Topnet, is a Canadian, is a part of the community. And also, these are the softwares that we're considering at the time. Koha, Evergreen, which is a ready-made consortium library system. And one of the local library system here is a Libro system by Sir Romy Sebastian. Although this is a access-based integrated library system, but since I know Sir Romy, and this software is really good also for local libraries. So in 2012, we're ready to implement Koha, but the problem is how. There's a LiveLime Koha, there is a Koha community, and you can also use a downloadable live DVD. So at the time, it's very confusing, or which way to go, which software to use, and which instructions that we will follow. So we seek help to the Koha community. So we go to their website. Their official website page is kohacommunity.org. We went to their wiki page, which is wiki.kohacommunity.org. And lastly, we subscribe to their mailing list, which is, you can see on the link. Our involvement to the Koha community helps us decide to what Koha installation or instruction to use. And this is the Koha website now. This is not. This is the current website. It wasn't this pretty when we started. The wiki page, the technical documentation, requests for proposals, and general community informations, where you can find all of the technical details. You can go to this page, and if you would like to see all of the KohaCon proposals, you can go to this page also, and also some SQL, especially for different types of reports. This is where you can find all types of reports. Next is the mailing list. The mailing list, I'm subscribing into a digest subscription. Yeah, and I would like to shout out Nicole Engard. Nicole is one of the early documentation manager. Yeah, she's very helpful to me at the time. And in this mailing list, you will be welcome to the community, and there are no wrong questions, and they will guide you properly by giving you correct answers. And the first involvement of SIL is to help update the installation instructions. So Koha on Ubuntu, basically the one that Eugene, I think, installed in 2013 is using the package or git install of Ubuntu, but can be used also for Debian. So this is the instruction page also available in the wiki site. So in April 2012, we've successfully implemented Teamwork Catalog using Koha version 3.6.3. But again, there are some bugs, just like the concerns. Where do you go? If you Google it, you can find old instructions or unreliable instructions. So it's better to go to the main site, which is the Bugzilla. The Bugzilla is, you can see some patches, errors, fixed your errors, and it's very reliable. So if you find some errors, if you find some problems with your Koha, I do suggest that you look into Bugzilla and check if really uh, there's a concern on that version of your Koha. So in 2013, uh, we also need to add new feature. Where do we go? We go to Bugzilla. The new feature that we wanted is that allows our patron to access special collection in the OPAC through user authentication, through our Insight account or through our basically our another universal account. And this special collection should not be visible to the general public accessing the OPAC. So how does the code goes to Koha? These are the 9 steps of the how does the code goes into Koha. The reason I'm discussing this one is if you have some problems or you wanted to add new features to the functionality of Koha, if you would like to uh, sponsor a developer, sponsor, or you can also write a code or patch, you can do this process, this 9 process. First is submitting a bug report to the Bugzilla, and a patch will be a patch is submitted by a patch writer. Third is the release manager will push it to the QA. It will be tested. Fourth is that the patch is tested and signed off by a patch signer. It's a best practice that a patch signer will be a different person or individual or institution of the patch writer. And the patch is tested by a QA manager. Patch status is set to pass QA. And 6, it's the patch is tested and signed off by the release manager. And if the patch passes, it goes to the master. So the number or the versioning of Koha, so you can see that there's a now the latest is 17.05. So those are the master release, stable release. If it's before it's odd number. Now it's based on the year and the month. If it's 3.6, that's a stable a master or release. But if it's 3.5 or odd number, it's not a stable release. So 8, the bug is marked resolved by the bug closer, and 9, it will be pushed to the next release. And you need to be part of this code base community. Why? So that your upgrade will be seamlessly. So ibig sabihin is you don't it prevents you rewriting the same code when you upgrade. Oops. So in 2014, my involvement in KohaCon is to provide the Filipino subtitle of the Koha community video, which you can watch on YouTube. That's part of it, yeah. And also, in 2014, I envisioned to have Koha in Filipino to translate the OPAC interface into Filipino language. So you can see my name there and Snitch. This is Eugene. So lastly, this is the other community sites. This is the Internet Relay Channel or IRC. If you want to be part of the community, also this is where they meet at least once a month, and then discusses concerns regarding Koha. You can visit the GitHub where all of the codes is stored, and you can go to the dashboard. So if you want to look for a good support provider, make sure you want to see their developer name or company name on the list. And the Facebook groups. There's a Facebook group, the official is Koha Library System Project. We have our own Koha ILS Philippine user, Koha ILS user Philippines group, and there's also a Koha users group. So Koha users comes in many forms. So as a general user, you can use a live DVD or do the installation or use the NLP package. But you can be a power user who participates the mailing list, joins the meetings of general meetings on IRC, and writes up documentation. Or you can be an advanced user uh, who participates in the development mailing list, joins in the development IRC, writes codes, patches, and documentations. So, salamat po. Questions? Walang questions?
So are there any questions? Okay, so
So, sorry. So, a while ago, Manny presented to us how to file bugs, regarding bugs, right? Regarding regarding the hackfest, and what will you be expecting in our hackfest? So I hope those that who weren't signed up yet for the hackfest, which will be held from this Thursday to Friday, June 22 to 23 at the Asian Institute of Management, can confirm or can join us in the Hackfest. Uh, uh, Manny has a lot of time, so I'll use that one up to what do you call this, to introduce or to say about the Hackfest. So we've actually talked with Paul Pulain from Biblibre, and we're planning to do the Hackfest in two sessions, right? Two divided sessions. So
There will be two rooms. One for will be for development, and the other room will be for training. So technical training for different modules, and at least you can see the difference of a 2.2 to a 1605 or a 1705 version. So we will do some trainings, advanced training of the modules and different best practices also.
Paul?
so yun po. Seven. Huh?
No, just one thing. When they said one room will be for development, it is not for developers. It is to understand how to participate to the community, even if you are even while you are a librarian. So learning how to translate, how to search on Bugzilla, how to file a bug, etc., etc. So it is not related to doing some development.
So thank you, Paul. So even regular librarians can participate to the Hackfest. So basically, I would like the Koha to be available in our language, part of the translation. Yep. So yeah. And
okay, so if you have any questions and concerns, again, you may email those at aslplibrarians@gmail.com. So thank you very much, Mr. Manny, for sharing us your expertise and your experience in the Koha journey in SIL Philippines. So now allow me to thank again our sponsors for the event. Our KohaNep major sponsors, Bib Libre, Gobi Library Solutions from EBSCO, Bywater Solutions, Kobahagi, minor sponsors, ScanB Technology and Services, Vival Group, OnStrike Library Solutions, Tulong Aklatan, media sponsors, Manila Bulletin, and the conference partners, Ayala Museum, Filipinas Heritage Library, Asian Institute of Management, University of the Philippines School of Library Information Studies. So now, since we ended up the third session a little early, so allow me to just give you a background or a heads up of what are we going to do later on. If you notice in the program, if you can, if you have already read the program, part of the itinerary for today is the Ayala Museum tour at 4:30 p.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. So there are some reminders from the Ayala Museum management. So the tour starts at 4:30 this afternoon. Photography is only allowed at the second floor. So please take note of that. Photography is only allowed at the second floor. You may leave or deposit all bags before entering the galleries. So we have allotted spaces. Anyway, there are staff members who will assist us later on depositing our baggages, our belongings. And then the tour starts at the fourth floor. The fourth floor of this building going down. So everyone, we will all start our tour at the fourth floor, third, second, so on. And then present their ID badge to the security. So it is important that all throughout the conference, you are wearing your IDs, your provided IDs for the security purposes and the for everyone could see and already acknowledge if you are a participant of the event. Okay. So before we proceed to our next session, we will going to have a short break for the meantime. So you can do your bathroom breaks and anything that you may want.